what good is it if you know a bunch of chords but have no idea how to strum properly? That's a problem. So today we're going to work on that. We're going to go over strumming. So one really, really important thing when it comes to strumming is this continuous pattern of down, up, 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 and it never stops. No matter what you're hearing an acoustic guitarist do, or an electric guitarist for that matter, most of the time, you're hearing this maybe, but notice I'm continually going like this. I'm not going... Right? There's this continuous motion. So what we're going to do for a good portion of this lesson is I'm going to mute the strings up here by as close to the first fret as I can, just to get that really dead sound. Okay, so just so that you can hear the strumming more clearly. So try that. We're doing what we call 16th notes, meaning that there's 4 of them per beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a down, up, 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 right? So try and get really, 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 really comfortable with that, because you're going to need that. You're going to need to just be on autopilot. So the first practice strum that we're going to do, and you'll notice in these diagrams, you'll see arrows down and up, and you'll see red arrows for accented strums, which are a little harsher, a little more aggressive, a little louder. Those are accented strums. And then you'll see blue arrows for the ones that are not accented, that you're still hearing the sound, you're still making contact with the strings, but they're just not accented. So the black ones will be that you're still making the motion, but you're not actually making contact with the strings. And notice that there will always be a continuous amount of arrows, because you're going to have a continuous amount of down, up, down, ups, okay? So get really comfortable with it. So here we go. The first practice strum is this. We're just going to strum down beats. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice I'm not going like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still doing down, up, down, up. Okay? So next we're going to do one little variation of that, just to get you comfortable with doing things that are different than just a down strum. Ready? It'll go like this. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So these so far are all in 4/4, and we're going to do a few more common patterns that I've noticed as I listen to people, and some that I play quite often in 4/4. And so that means there's 4 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And then we're going to do 2 in 6/8, another common time signature to play in, where there's 6 eighth notes, hence the name 6/8, per measure. And we'll go over that in just a few minutes. So we're in 4/4. Here's the first pattern that I want to show you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work towards playing a chord progression. What I'm going to do is play G, D, and this is a common chord progression, E minor, and C. And you may have noticed, for E minor, I'm playing actually E minor 7. And for C, I'm actually playing C2. We've talked about in previous lessons how just because you see an E minor on a chord sheet doesn't mean that you can't play the E minor 7. In fact, it's quite popular to do so. Same for C2 in place of a C. So as long as you kind of have that root chord and you're not playing a major chord in place of a minor chord or something like that, you can do a lot of those different variations that we've gone over in the other lessons. So as I did talk about a few times, that ring finger can just stay down, and the pinky for the most part as well in the key of G. So it makes it really, really smooth as far as transitioning between chords. So we're going to work towards that. So we got the scraping first. And so we'll do this pattern. I call it 3 + 3 + 2, because that's how the accents kind of work out. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay? So you have the accented one, accent. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And again, we're down, up, down, up, down, up. So I'm going to do that on a G chord. Do that for a while, start slow, speed up, make sure you use a metronome to keep yourself in time. And now here's what it sounds like with the progression. So you can get an idea of what it sounds like in the context of a song. Okay, so one variation of the 3+3+2, just to add some stuff so it's not so downstrummy, if that's a phrase, if that's a real word, is just to add a few strums in between. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It's still got that feel, just adding stuff in between. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now with the chord progression, again, start slow, work your way up at your own pace. Okay. The next one we're going to go over is a 2 and 4 accent. And to me, this one feels the most natural because it kind of feels a lot like a drum beat. And this is the cool part about strumming. And as long as you get that down, up, down, up, down, as long as you get that really, really, really comfortable, you can kind of do whatever you feel to do. You can kind of think like a drummer and come up with your own patterns. All right. So here's one that's very drum-like. It has a similar sound to. Notice that beats 2 and 4 are accented. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, with the chord progression. Another thing you can do if you get really comfortable is instead of waiting for 4 beats to complete before switching the chords, you can do 2 beats. You could also go in the opposite direction and do 8 beats. All right, so those are all 4/4 strums. We're going to move on to 6/8 now. And so 6/8, it's the same concept of down, up, down, up. It's just going to feel a little bit different. So what I notice a lot of players do in 6/8 is just the continuous strum. So they're just accenting beats 1 and 4. So they're going like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. To me, that sounds a little monotonous, a little busy a lot of times, so I like to break it up just a little bit by taking out that second strum, that first upstroke. And again, you can switch every 2 beats or every 3 beats in 6/8. Just to practice and just challenge yourself. And you could do every 12 beats if you like. Again, learn at your own pace, use a metronome, practice, down, up, down, up, down, up, okay? And you'll be able to come up with your own strumming patterns in no time. Have a good one. Thanks.